All right, folks, back with another little video here. Been meaning to do this for several weeks now, but as you know, the weather don't always cooperate with us, so we're not always able to do exactly what we want to do. But anyway, this is going to be another tailgate video cause, well, it's about the only workbench I have at home. But what we're going to do, this is a FS55 power head. It's 27 cc's, but this one here happens to be a hedge trimmer. The number on this one is a hl-45. I think it's the same engine that's, like I say, in the FS55 trimmer. And what we got to do is, well, the carburetor needs some work, and rather than going through the carburetor on this thing, Hipa decided to send us this nice little maintenance kit here. Comes in this nice box, and we're going to try it out. We're going to see how it works on this machine. We'll open it up here and let you see what's inside. Trying to get it opened up here, y'all bear with me. Set that off to the side. There's what's inside. Comes with a new fuel line, fuel filter, carburetor, air filters, and spark plugs, mixture primer bulbs. Hipa sent us this to try out and see what we think about it, and what better machine to try it out on, because this machine here needs carb work, and I think it needs a fuel line too, so we'll get it apart and see what we got going. Set this off to the side real quick. This air filter off. Air filters are a little aggravating with gloves on. Set that off to the side. Our 8mm or 5/16. Crack these carburetor nuts loose. Better if you have a little bit better tool for this. The socket fits, but the wall is a little thick on the socket, so it tends to want to stick on you, but it does work, and it works for what we're doing here. So that's what we're going to use. Pop this baby loose. Pop our fuel line loose. Pop our throttle cable loose. Just reach in here with some needle nose pliers and grab it, makes it a little easier. All right, throttle cable is loose. Pop off one of the other lines down here. I think it's gonna break. It's already broken. And I believe our carburetor is about ready to come off. Might just be hanging up there. Take a little flathead screwdriver and just lightly pry behind it. And that's that. We'll slide that gasket back up on there, because we're going to probably reuse that gasket. That's the removal of the carburetor. All right, so something interesting I was just studying here on these two different carburetors. If you'll notice, side by side, the factory carburetor is the dirty one. It says stihl on it. It don't have double jet for the low and high. the aftermarket carburetor does, so it's fully adjustable, and the idle screw is easier to get to on the aftermarket carb. And then if you come over here, we'll look, and there's our connections. Exact same place. Seems like a pretty decent carburetor. So how about we get this thing put on there and see what it'll do. But first we gotta pop that fuel line out and get a new one put in, because this one here is rotted and it has cracks in it. Holes, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's get this fuel line over here. Set our carburetor off to the side. Pop this old fuel line out here. I'm just using a flathead screwdriver. Try our best to reach up under here. We're not really worried about messing it up as long as we don't mess the fuel tank up. We just want to get it out because it's basically trash anyway. Just pry up underneath it here, and it's out. Voila. There's the issue. She's rotted. As you can see, both lines are rotted. There's the fuel filter, a little dirty. There's the barb. Set it off to the side. Inspect our new fuel filter. Compare and contrast it just to make sure. Slightly bigger in diameter, so hopefully it'll fit. Seems like it wants to fit down in the tank, so we might be in good shape. We might be in good shape there. See a little trash down in the tank, so I'm gonna clean this tank out real quick and we'll bring you right back. All right, now I think we can proceed with the filter here, or the fuel line. We'll go ahead and install our fuel filter on our new line and drop that down in the tank here. Put these off to the side. These new grommets can sometimes be a little bit of a pain to get in. Sometimes you just have to hold down on one side and take a blunt object and just kind of work around it and plop it down in there like so. Be careful not to puncture your grommet or your line. Got her in there now. So I think now we're ready for our gasket to go back on. Don't forget that, it's important. Now we're ready for our carburetor. Go ahead and hook that up. A little stiff because she's new. The longer line goes up to your primer bulb. That's why it's a little bit longer, so it reaches up there. Just reinstall our throttle cable. Make sure your little throttle holder is turned the right way when you go to put your cable in, or otherwise you'll have a hard time getting it in there. might have to pull up on the throttle with your thumb to get it in there. Verify that it works. Looks like we got throttle. Okay. Now we can reinstall our other gasket here and reinstall this piece. All right, we got that put back on. I think my camera stopped on me all of a sudden, but carburetor's reinstalled. She's nice and tight, or snug I should say. So now we're gonna get some fuel poured in it and see what she does. Got some primage. Got primage going on. It's a good sign. Give her some choke. She fired. That was choke. Taking it off choke now. All right, we got our screwdriver, and we also sprayed a little PB blaster on the blade because she's been sitting, and it's a good idea to lubricate that up a little bit so it's not so hard on the engine and the clutch on something that's been sitting as long as this machine has. So we'll get her fired back up here and try to get her dialed in. Got her idling. Just had to turn the idle screw up a little bit. Seems to be idling pretty good. how she restarts. All right, guys. Had a little mishap there. Thought I was on the high jet. I was actually turning the low jet. Got it straightened out and got the carburetor pretty well dialed in on the bench, I would say, so to speak. I would not run the machine without the breather, the air filter, but I was doing that just for tuning purposes. She seems to be running pretty good. She's idling, she revs, she starts back up. Those are all important characteristics of a machine that you're going to use to trim hedges, because there's nothing more frustrating than a machine that won't idle or won't rev. You want to get that done and go home, because usually it's hot when you're trimming bushes or hedges and you don't want sweat dripping down your face forever. Anyway, it's enough ramble. That's the machine. Before we use it, we're gonna check this gearbox, make sure she's got plenty of grease in her. I didn't run it very long, so I didn't really worry about it at the moment, but I'm going to check that. It's also important to check that if you just acquired a machine and you're not sure when the last time it's been serviced. And we'll get these blades looked at, make sure they're sharp, and yeah, should be good to go on this thing. But yeah, this Hipa maintenance kit worked out. It's pretty cheap too. I think this kit's less than $30. I think it's like 25, 26 bucks, I think is what this kit cost. They have several other kits as well as carb kits. I do recommend them. Seems to be running pretty good. Got this machine, took the machine that don't run and has been sitting, and now it runs. So can't ask for much more than that, guys. At the end of the day, she runs. But anyway, it's getting a little late and it's getting dark, so we're gonna get this picked up and probably go in the house and sit down, because I've not sat down all day and it would be nice. So anyway, appreciate y'all watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Drew's Creations, over and out. One other thing I forgot to mention in the video is if you're interested in purchasing some of Hipa's products, such as that maintenance kit you just seen in that video, you can find their products as well as other products on their Amazon store or eBay. I recommend Amazon because they have faster shipping. I've been receiving my products from them within 1 to 2 days, so quick shipping. Just forgot to mention that, guys. Appreciate y'all watching. Over and out.